If you're looking for the experience of a delicious cocktail, but without the effects of alcohol, try Kensho Cocktails by Reserve. These ready-to-drink beverages are made with premium botanicals and natural citruses and spices, giving them the flavor and finish of high-end mixology. Garnish with limes, cherries, or raspberries to complete a bold and sophisticated cocktail, all without the accompanying hangover. Go to rsrvcollective.com and use promo code CinemaVino, and you'll receive 30% off everything on that purchase. It's the biggest discount you can get, and it's exclusive to our promo code. Once again, that's rsrvcollective.com, promo code CinemaVino. Welcome back to Cinema Vino.
Winded.
Depending on my editing skills, those of you watching YouTube may have just seen a pretty good game of patty cake breakout between Sean and Travis. So
it's called Clapping SN, and we are experts.
Take that to your nightmares, y'all.
It's called the clap.
Yes, it is.
And we are experts.
We both got it.
Okay, so this is the concluding film of our
You got it,
trilogy.
flaunt it, you know.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. We got Sean Jordan.
Hi.
Travis Bud.
It's your boy. It's your boy.
My name's Todd Wofford.
Also your boy.
Exactly. And we are drinking Lubanzi Rhone-style red from South Africa.
Lufthansa heist? What?
So this is...
Rabanzi?
J.R.R. Tolkien was born in South Africa. They moved to England at a fairly young age, but he spent the first years of his life in South Africa.
This is a GSM. It's a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre.
Exactly. So that would, it's a Rhone-style red made in South Africa.
13.5.
Yeah. So in honor of his birthplace, we're doing a South African red.
What other wines does South Africa make? Like,
so
what are they known for?
The wine that they're known for the most is a red wine called Pinotage. Pinotage is going to be a very dark, heavy, inky red that has a very cigar. I've even heard road tar flavor to it. It's got a very rich, deep.
This one kind of
heavy red.
Some like
that's a South African trademark.
Real rich, kind of mellow flavors.
Yeah, you get a lot of body out of your South African reds.
What's a Grenache and then what's a Mourvedre? Obviously, I know Syrah, but
so those are going to be different blending grapes. So basically, like your Syrah is going to have your bigger peppery notes to it. You'll see a Grenache and Mourvedre blended with it to give it kind of more of a balanced fruit flavor. So that's why Rhone wines are going to be some of the more balanced flavor profiles. You get a little bit of fruit, but you get a little bit of like spices, pepper. You can get everything from like light fruits, herb, like floral notes to it, all kinds of stuff.
Is Côte de Rhone usually like a Gamay grape?
Côte de Rhone in the red is going to be, sometimes it's just straight Syrah. And then sometimes it'll be Grenache Syrah Mourvedre. It can be some combination of those.
Because I normally like GSMs.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know shit about them.
Yeah.
But are they usually in this like amount? Because this is 80% Syrah, 15% Grenache, and 5% Mourvedre.
In France,
or does that sometimes like change? Like everybody has their own mix.
It can fluctuate.
Or is that are they normally mostly Syrah?
Yes.
And then just flavored with the others?
Yes.
Okay.
Normally, yes. Every now and then you'll see it differently. And sometimes in those, it'll be 100% Syrah. They won't have anything else in them. So that's also common.
Well, that would just be a Syrah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's still a Rhone. You could have a Rhone that's the 100% Syrah.
Gotcha.
Or it could be Grenache Syrah Mourvedre. So this is pretty common. Again, they add in the Grenache Mourvedre to kind of like soften the edge of the Syrah a little bit and make it a little more rounded fruit flavor.
Yeah, because this is like a real peppery but not chalky kind of red.
And it's gonna
take one.
Oh yeah, yeah. This would be a great, especially coming from South Africa. In the United States, you will actually see a Syrah commonly blended with a Viognier, which is a white wine. A blend of like 90% Syrah and 10% Viognier is not uncommon. They'll literally take the red, mix a little bit of white in there to help kind of bring down the edge and make it a little more softer and more palatable. So, and
I don't want to say this is sharp, but it is like heavy.
It is. To me, this is a little bit heavier than the French counterparts.
Yeah. I get like kind of like a mellow tobacco kind of notes.
Yeah, which is that very South African.
Smoky, woody kind of.
Yeah.
Cherry, little maraschino up in there.
Yeah.
Oh, a little maraschino share? Little tasted some little grapiness?
Yeah, that very well could be. But yeah, the number one thing you get out of South African wines is, to me, all the ones I've ever tried is that rich cigar, smoky flavor.
Mm-hmm.
The white wines, you'll see a lot of Chenin Blanc come out of South Africa. That's a very common white. You'll see some Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Grigios, but Chenin Blanc is a very common South African grape.
It's just like tastes like I'm better than other people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you are.
Yeah. I say it's just enhancing what's already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's your super soldier serum.
But what if you're an asshole?
Just enhances what's already there.
Yeah.
Enhance.
Mm-hmm.
Enhance.
Yep. Just takes you to peak form.
Mm.
So yeah, this is about $15 at your wine store, wherever you can find in your South African section. So
Money well spent.
yeah, there you go. Lebonzo, Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre. So we're going to talk about Return of the King. A little bit of background. This was released December 17th, 2003. I saw this opening day.
I saw this opening day.
Yeah.
I saw this opening day.
There we go.
I think. I don't remember.
We were in
Midnight 30.
We were in different theaters, but American Tail style, we were looking up the same.
We were all spiritually holding hands.
Connected by our Yannis.
Yeah. So this grossed $1.1 billion.
Saxophone player?
Vagina?
Oh.
Yanni's a saxophone player?
Yeah.
Oh, that too. Wait a minute.
I thought Yanni was a keyboard player.
Is he?
I think so.
Am I thinking Kenny G?
Kenny G is a sax player.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Kenny G's the sax.
But Yanni also means vagina.
I think it's pronounced Giannis.
Ooh. Poha?
So this grossed $1.1 billion against a $95 million budget. The three Lord of the Rings movies combined had a budget of around $280 to $300 million.
What was the combined gross?
You'd have to, so we could add it up because it's like this is 1.1, Two Towers was 956, and then Fellowship was like 838. So he might have got a
A
calculator.
cool 2.9 bill
Yeah, not bad.
on a $300 million budget.
Big return.
And then just
Of the King.
continuing on DVDs and Blu-rays and all kinds of
Video games and
merch.
Amazon series and
Yeah,
Good old Lego sets that are ungodly amounts of money.
good time to have less
trips to New
Tolkien.
Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
So this was the second highest grossing film of all time as of 2003 when it came out. What was the highest grossing film?
In 2003?
Mm-hmm.
Titanic?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, because I was trying to go through the Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones.
Kate Winslet's nipples.
Yep. Titanic.
Titanic was number one. Yep.
And then something took over Titanic in...
Avatar.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Fuck me.
Yep.
James Cameron.
They had to sell TVs. You had to have that on every single Blu-ray that's in the store.
They had to have something to show on display at every Best Buy.
Yeah.
So this won 11 Oscars. It won in every category for which it was nominated. It was tied with its 11 Oscars, tied with two other films. Titanic also won 11 Oscars, and Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm. So this caps off the trilogy. The theatrical cut comes in at 201 minutes. The extended cut
Director's cut?
The director's extended cut is 251 minutes.
Yep.
That's 4 hours and 11 minutes.
That is the version that I watched.
Yeah, it is the only version that exists in the world.
I agree. I tend to agree.
Well, and it's again, like we said last week, I think that would have been what I watched. But again, I'm trying to kind of ease my wife into the fantasy genre. So we'll start shallow and go in the deep end of the pool as we get better and more accustomed to it.
Sure.
So this
Where are you going next?
Well, I mean, I think the next watch that we do, she and I will do the extended cuts of all three.
Oh, okay. So you'll watch the theatrical cut and then the extended cut
Next, yes.
Okay.
Because it was
She's going to sit for that?
I think she enjoyed it. She enjoyed it a lot more. The first
kind of have to wait.
Yeah, it'll be a few years.
Yeah.
It'll be a few years. But the first time we watched it was when we first started dating. So this was 11 plus years ago. And since then, we have watched all of Game of Thrones.
Didn't you watch the extended cut first whenever you guys first started dating, or did you watch the theatrical
with
cut?
theatrical? Again, even then, I was like toe in the water.
You have failed your wife. Both times. You made her watch.
You are letting her down.
You made her watch the theatrical cut twice and given her no extension.
Well, when
You're shortchanging your wife.
as I do. She watched it the first time and she's pretty lukewarm towards it. But then it was like we watched Game of Thrones.
Did she see Legolas?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. Just checking.
But
She strikes me more as a Gimli kind of girl.
And so yeah, she enjoyed it a lot more this time. Having seen Game of Thrones, she enjoyed the fantasy aspect of it that much more. So I think she'll be ready to watch the extended versions next time.
Okay.
So this was a successful rewatch.
I'm just trying to think what other fantasy alleys you can go down to kind of.
She enjoyed Harry Potter too. That's another thing that probably helped her enjoy this was like, she's figuring out that she likes these type of movies more than she thought.
What about Willow? Kaya? It's one and done.
Yeah, there you go. So in this story, Sam and Frodo approach the destiny at Mount Doom with Gollum in close pursuit. Gandalf leads the defense of the Gondorian city of Minas Tirith at Pelennor Fields. Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, Theoden, Merry, and Eowyn coming to Gondor's aid. Aragorn must embrace his role as the King of Gondor, as the fate of Sauron is decided once and for all.
Sauron.
So, I want to give my opinion first, and I want to see what you guys. I want to hear your guys' counterpoint to this.
Okay.
Because I've already finished all 3 reviews for all 3 movies.
Sure.
And so I gave this movie, again, it's a relative thing, but I gave this movie the lowest score of the 3. So basically, in a roundabout way, Fellowship was a 9.5. Two Towers was a 10. This was just a flat 9.
I can see that.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree.
So my thought was, and it's everybody, some reviewers, beat down the endings. Just about every movie critic beats down the ending of this movie, how long and protracted of an epilogue it is. And to me,
wait, the epilogue of like the hobbits jumping on the bed and they're all hugging each other?
The pillow fight at the end, and then sitting at the Rivendell.
Now that's an ending.
On the Grey Shores.
Yes. And then you have the end with the beer and Sam with his long lost crush. And, then, the sailing to the, Elven Valhalla or whatever. And then you got the Sam coming home and, running out to, it's one scene after another. And to me, it zaps the energy and the momentum of the entire, because this is a very propulsive movie. It's about 85% of a great movie. And then it's like a guy that doesn't know when to stop telling the story. It's like, and then it's like purists will say, well, those endings are all in the book.
It's canon.
And it's like, yes. And to me, it's like, keep going back to the idea of, any screenwriting instructor is going to tell you that if you're hired to write a movie from a book, don't just write the book, and they've done such a good job through all 3 of these movies, sticking to that advice, kind of weeding out things that don't work and kind of straightening out the narrative and really making it feel cinematic. They've done such a good job, and then they only to kind of give way at the end of it and give a protracted ending that doesn't play well on screen, where it's like that. I think readers in a book will forgive a long, drawn out ending more so than moviegoers will. It's like the Jack Nicholson thing. I mean, I'm kind of with Jack on that.
Yeah. Counterpoint. If you look at it on the whole, it's not really that long of an ending because it's the end of a 9+ hour series.
Yeah.
And to take 30 minutes to kind of wrap up everybody's storyline is it is book-like, right? Yeah. Like you don't leave anything to the imagination. You tell everybody exactly what everybody did. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I think I rank this lowest, and I don't even know that it's because of the ending. I think it's because it's just nonstop story and just action for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then you get like 10 minutes of just like bouncing on the bed and, the gray shores.
So where would you have ended it? Would you have ended it with like, you bow to no one? Because you can't skip that part out.
No, you can't.
So would that have ended right as the pullback from Minas Tirith and maybe like a narrative overview from Frodo about what happened after?
Yeah.
86, everything after that?
Maybe just condense it down and then end it with them. Because it's like...
I think, if you don't mind, if I step in, I think if they had shown Frodo doing like a jump and then they just froze and then like the text comes up and it kind of tells you what everybody did and you read it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It tells you like, Sam went on to marry his bartender lady friend.
Breakfast Club ending?
Yeah.
I almost said Breakfast ending.
Don't you forget about me.
That I would get down with totally.
Hell yeah.
What if it was all 4 hobbits jumping at the same time?
See, even better. Exactly. I think that's what should have happened.
Well, I feel like the scene where they're sailing off, Frodo and Gandalf and company are sailing off into the sunset, feels like such a perfect closing shot. And it was just like, okay, and I remember in the theater, like, okay, I'm getting my stuff together, and it's like, fuck. And then it's like,
you have to pee because you have like a large soda.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 4-hour movie.
Yeah. And that's the Hitchcock thing.
Weller's and Cherry Coke.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting a good buzz going. And it's like Hitchcock said that the length of a movie is dictated by the endurance of the human bladder. And so it's like, even at 201 minutes for the theatrical cut, you're pushing the envelope of like, if you're sitting there with a 64-ounce Dr. Pepper, I mean, you're Forrest Gump at that point.
Yeah.
You got to go pee.
Yeah, you got to go pee.
So, I think about that in the theater where it's like, we keep coming to so many logical stopping points and we just keep going.
Yeah.
So again, it's like even somebody who I enjoyed the books, but it's like that stuff doesn't play well.
Yeah.
In the theater, to me. Again, even like the 251 minutes for the extended cut is fine on Blu-ray when you're sitting there in the comfort of your house. If you need to go, you can pause it and get up and go, So that's fine.
Well, and I think nowadays it would have been all handled by stingers. Like today's day and age, it would have been tacked on as like a 5-minute stinger at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What is a stinger? Just the scroll?
No, it's the Marvel, like
the shawarma.
The stinger at the end of the movie. It's like credits, mid-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
You get your stinger and then more credits. And then
right.
Which MST3K was a really great pioneer of that, of having a stinger after every episode.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. Another one, yeah. Well, I mean, then you get back to the whole Smokey and the Bandit thing of like, the credits are rolling over here, and then you got the bloopers with Dom DeLuise, and
always goes back to Smokey and the Bandit.
And man, if they'd done Smokey and the Bandit bloopers at the end of this, I'd give it a 10 solid.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see Frodo like giant animatronic spider just like, oh.
Yeah, that's my movie right there. It's just a long extended blooper reel.
Ooh, yeah. I think my favorite, well, not blooper reel, but it was Aragorn doing like the head hit with like on his last rap day with like all of the other Uruk-hai and other stunt people.
Oh, like he was headbutting them all?
Doing the headbutts. And then they found out, they were like, well, shit, you still have a pickup shot tomorrow. And his like, he had a goose egg on his forehead.
And a concussion.
Yeah.
Hey, follow it up to our last episode. Did you watch that video of Dominic Monaghan interviewing?
Cute.
Will you verfix?
I respect a good prank.
Such a good one.
One video I did see after Two Towers, and of course, because my phone is listening, and now half of my shorts for the week after were related to Lord of the Rings.
A lot of 9/11 content.
Yeah, the production, and was the Battle of Helm's Deep. Whenever how they filmed how they recorded the crowd noise, and like Peter Jackson went out to a rugby match.
Oh, yeah, stadium
halftime, and they had on the jumbotron like the Uruk-hai words. And, they recorded the crowd saying them at halftime, and they said that this was a drunken, like, crowd of Kiwis. And so they got about 6 or 7 seconds of usable stuff. And then they every now and then be like, fuck you, Frodo. Like they had to keep editing out because they cut to the crowd. There's big, like, cups of beer. The group is just rowdy.
Yeah, New Zealand takes rugby real seriously.
Yeah.
You gonna tell me there's not some Uruks that wouldn't be yelling, fuck you, Frodo?
Again, I would respect the hell out of that.
Wait a minute. Is that how they knew what a menu was? They're all drunken
Rugby,
Kiwis?
yeah.
Looks like rugby's back on the menu, boys.
So that's my argument for it. I'm curious to hear your guys' rankings of this movie, what you guys thought of it. So, Travi?
Dude, one of my favorite sequences, right, is what the beacons were fucking lit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a badass sequence.
Yes.
Oh, the music?
Yes.
Howard Shore's killing it.
I get like the goosebumps on my arm. I'm like, oh my God, I can still feel.
Yeah, that deep brass. You're a tuba player, you know.
Man,
You're a tuba guy?
No. I mean, I did play tuba. I didn't know what I was doing. You guys, can we stop talking about my flair? I wanted to play saxophone, but I was too fat. They were like, no, you're a fat guy. You got to play the tuba.
Visually, we can't have you play saxophone in our band.
But no, yeah, I love the Howard Shore score during those swelling moments, and then of course Aragorn popping in, we're like, oh, through slow motion through the doors.
Yeah, Gandalf riding up the White City.
I mean, I'm a straight man, but there's something about a good door push.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
This movie's got a few of those good.
Yeah.
I wish Aragorn would push my door in.
They even give Denethor a good door push when he's going into the...
And that one didn't work for me.
Denethor has some great sequences.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I miss cherry tomatoes.
God, what I wouldn't give to be that cherry tomato.
And I don't remember Denethor being that much of a bitch in the books like he is in the movie. Just like Boromir. I don't remember Boromir being that sketchy.
But they
the family.
In the extended one, you get more of a showdown with the Witch King and Gandalf that you don't get in the theatrical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good because that character deserves a payoff, deserves more time.
Yeah. I do love the magical loophole at the end that kills the Witch King.
I am no man.
There's a cute little semantics, you know.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's a classic, Shakespearean, workaround.
It's a 1-2 punch because it's a hobbit and a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, a male hobbit, but he's not considered.
He's not a man.
Yeah.
So, please continue.
Yes. Yeah. So you got more of the payoff of the Witch King because the rest of the time, Gandalf doesn't have his staff, and it's the Witch King that broke it.
It busted it. And his whole thing was he's like, I will break him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's in the theatrical.
It is.
Okay.
They say it, and then they don't pay it off.
Yeah, that sucks. You need to see the payoff of it.
Yeah.
And I love this also, the extended again, because you really get to see, they've always kept talking about Sauron's arm will have grown great indeed if he thinks he can reach us here. But you see, especially with Gandalf helping to save Faramir, doing the whole light thing again.
I love that scene.
And you see the cloud overhead that's Sauron's, Mountain Doom's smoke or whatever that I guess Sauron is essentially aiming it where he wants his armies to go.
He's shifting his...
Because they call it the shadow of Mordor that's creeping over. But that's how he doesn't have a whole... 10,000 Uruk-hai army that can move by day. So he's stretching out his fingers. They explain that way better in the extended version.
Yeah.
And I love that part. I'm like, oh, that's so cool that his army's not as effective by day. So he's advancing them in these specific ways. But yeah, it's just Gandalf coming to the rescue again, busting out the light and saving the dudes from the fell beasts. That was sweet. I like the 30-minute ending because, again, like Sean said, you've got, with the extended ones, you've got like 12 hours of content, and the beginning, at least reading the book, was so fucking long. How long were we at this birthday party?
Yeah.
For several chapters, or at least 100 pages.
Sackville Bagginses.
But it makes perfect sense that you start pulling in and seeing Bilbo. Well, obviously, the beginning of the Fellowship is them giving you the backstory.
Yeah.
But as the story starts, you're pulling in on the Shire and Hobbiton and Bag End. And that's how you end as well.
Yeah.
Is that you're doing all these things, and then right at the end is Sam closing the door, and you end on the door. I like the book ending like that.
Yeah.
I get the being upset with, or not upset, but thinking that they could have made it shorter. But I think that this is Lord of the Rings, and it doesn't exactly want to be the perfect movie. It's like, nope, we're something different. It's a totally different animal than most other movies because they care in some way, but they don't care in others. It's almost, I maybe feels too strongly about it, but it's almost in its own category, you know?
Yeah.
But so I give it the pass on being a little too long because I'd rather have it explained in too long than like leaving some things lingered.
So,
but I do agree with the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thought there is like you when it comes to stuff like this and like fantasy and D&D, I would, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say you're a completist. You enjoy the full story, like,
yes,
you know, the story that takes a while in the telling. You know, you like to kind of spread out and take it all in.
Well, yeah, if I've got, you know,
he really does.
You guys will watch everything, but if I want Richie and Taylor to watch something and they have like the Avengers, and I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, this is a shit movie. They didn't do this great. I'm like, oh my God, the first Avengers movie is fucking great. You guys should see it. And they're like, nah, we've been burned before. I'm like, no, they got it right this time. You know, I just want to pick up the nerdery that they would never watch. And then once it's translated into film, I'm like, look, guys, they did it and they did it correctly.
Okay. So with our buddy Richie, would you show him the theatrical cut or the extended first?
Oh, the extended.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think in defense of the extended, it's only like 30 more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of them are like, 43 more minutes, and then
it's all like
or
baked
27.
in to where it feels natural. It doesn't like none of it feels like it's jammed in or unnecessary.
Well, again, on home video, it's a whole different ball game.
True, very true.
Theater.
It feels like binge watching one season of a Netflix show.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, and I don't think it's not going to be shown in theaters because it's not a theatrical cut. Mm-mm. Like, I think there were special screenings where you could watch the extended edition.
Yeah, they did that right before the Hobbit movies. You could spend a whole day in the theaters and then watch whatever brand new Hobbit movie came.
And I think they did like some special like theatrical runs of the extended editions, just like 1 week apart. Like it was like every Wednesday they would show like a different one. And I definitely saw it then, but it's so good. And like, it's so rich, like a fine, rich wine, you know?
Yeah.
Like that extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, doesn't feel unnatural. Like it feels like it adds to the experience. And you kind of have to know going in, I'm going to watch the extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'm going to dedicate 4 hours of my time watching Return of the King.
Yeah.
And you're going to love every minute of it. And yeah, I mean, the ending is a little drawn out, but like I said, it's the conclusion of a 9-hour epic.
Yeah.
9+ hour, 10 hour, if it's the extended. Like it doesn't feel like it's too much when it's paying off so much.
Yeah.
Well, and they already condensed it because they have, right at the beginning of Return of the King, they have the Saruman and Wormtongue. They wrap that storyline up. Where in the book, they have an entire chapter called The Scouring of the Shire. Like all the hobbits get done. They're like, oh, great. And they go back to Hobbiton and, Saruman and Wormtongue are there and they have all the evil men that are with them. And so the hobbits have to like rally the other hobbits and kick out all the bad guys and kill Saruman.
Yeah.
So that would have seemed a little bit too much, but I'm on some level, I'm still upset. I'm like, damn it. We should have had like a little extra. I do like those moments in a film where you're like, oh, thank God we've won. We've done the thing. It feels like, you're playing a video game. Thank God, last boss beaten. And then all of a sudden there's like, wait a minute, addendum.
Yeah.
You only thought, bitch.
Bitch, you thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the story of Return of the King is really good and it has some really good beats baked into it. You get Denethor, who's kind of like this madman who's just in power, but refuses to face the truth.
Not like real life at all.
No, nothing like, God, can I see that man eating a tomato?
Hard pass.
And then, you have the existential crisis of Sauron.
Yeah.
And then you have just, Faramir is a great story.
Mm-hmm. Which does benefit from the extended.
Yes,
That's
you
true.
get a
Yeah.
lot more Faramir.
You get to see him and Eowyn get together.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's a payoff that we needed to see.
And as I said in the previous movie, she has a type.
She really does. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's just so much that they pack in that just layers on itself.
Mhm.
It's just such a great movie, but it is long and there's a lot of action beats without like a lot of, they fit in a lot of complexity, but it still feels very flat at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just like action beat after action beat
Mhm.
that I feel like that kind of takes away from the totality of it. And it takes it for me down from like a 10 to like a 9.5 ish.
So is this, I mean, we're eventually going to watch Star Wars, but I can already tell the future, like everybody's watched fucking Star Wars. So we know
What?
the first is really good. Empire Strikes Back is the best
Better.
one. And then Return of the Jedi is like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
too many Ewoks. Is that's the same kind of way we're going with the Lord of the Rings. You're like, the first one was really good. Second one's even better. Third one,
I
not quite as
struggle
good.
with
I mean, it's still fucking
ranking Two Towers over Fellowship. And not because I think Fellowship is better, but it's just they're two very different movies.
right.
And I love Fellowship.
Yeah. I love Fellowship.
I liked it the most on this rewatch than I ever had before. I've always enjoyed it, but this is, I liked it the best this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the escalation. You've got like 80 Uruk-hai at the, chasing down while you got the cave troll and all that shit. But then boom, you're in the second movie, you got 10,000 Uruk-hai.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, you've got like, 100,000 orcs and all this, everything in the kitchen.
Cave trolls. Yeah.
Fell beasts everywhere.
Nazguls.
Yeah.
The Nazgul scene, like you said, where Gandalf is riding out and chasing off the Nazguls. Tremendous scene.
Again, I'm still pissed that they can't give the Lord of the Eagles, they can't let an eagle fucking talk. They let, Benedict Cumberbatch.
I just want one monologue from an eagle.
Yeah, I want Gwai here to be like, yeah, guys, we're not.
Hey,
we're not
Gandalf,
flying
I appreciate you calling me. And I know I said no on that last thing you asked about, but I appreciate it. I'm trying to pay you back where I can. I've been really busy. Like my son he's in Boy Scouts and his mom's not chipping in.
He's in Eagle Scouts, please.
Oh yeah.
Who would be
he's working his way up.
Who would be the voice of your eagle?
Bill Burr.
Oh,
Alfonso Ribeiro?
Bill Murray.
Bill Burr.
Oh, Bill Burr.
You fucking guys.
Get out of here. So anyway, so you're 9.
I'm in
9.5.
9.5.
You're 9.
Oh, and we were talking about this off stream, but we thought all these Lord of the Rings movies should have gotten an Oscar at some point, but they waited until this third one to give them a full sweep, which I'm sure it was deserved.
Because the Academy doesn't like awarding incomplete projects.
Well, also fantasy and horror films.
Yes. Also,
The Substance got kind of hosed. Well, or what? Margaret Qualley won for she get a BAFTA or something. I don't forget what she won for, but
yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of like other awards, like Spirit Awards and BAFTAs and Screen Actors Guild.
Well, most of those award shows don't exactly like giving out awards to like sci-fi, horror, fantasy type films.
Which is why they're always shoved into like that category is sci-fi, horror, fantasy is level. Yeah. It's that grab all bucket of categories.
So then they finally give them a sweep on the last one. And I don't even know what else was nominated that year for Best Picture.
I don't remember.
But we were discussing how Dune 2 didn't get any nods at all. And we're wondering if
it got some. It got like set design.
It got Best Picture.
No, I mean like it didn't get awarded
anything. Yeah,
it got awarded a couple things.
But I heard like several people didn't even watch it, or there was
voters
an interview with like two or three.
You see more Dune.
It's a stigma. Yeah, I mean, there was some of that around Black Panther also. That,
I ain't doing it.
We're not going to give a Marvel movie.
I mean, the Academy fucking sucks. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like I love touting like Best Pictures and being like, oh yeah, that's a Best Picture movie, but like. The Academy sucks, man. They don't watch the movies that they're supposed to vote on. They don't you basically get an Academy nomination by throwing a lobby for it and throwing money at it. Like Anora, no digs against that. It was a $6 million movie that spent $18 million to get a nomination for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like, it spent 3 times as much money trying to get award nominations as it did on the movie.
In sports, it's like the Heisman. You know, it's like it's no mistake why the Heisman winners are always like from Texas or Alabama or Oklahoma or Notre Dame. It's
Colorado?
We get coming. It's like it's the schools that can spend the money.
Yeah.
You know, and they do spend money on Heisman campaigns. You know, they take out billboards and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a very real thing.
It sucks that it's that commodified because it has become something that's prestigious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to your point, they don't give it to this. This movie obviously deserves it and got all the awards it should have, but the previous 2 should have also gotten awards.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
So it's been another.
I'm obviously pissed about Dune 2.
Yeah. Oh, I know you're about to wrap it up. I forgot. I got to answer one question from our comments last time. To Fruit of the Loom fan 420, the answer is briefs.
So this has been another episode of Cinema Vino, and we thank you guys so much.
Like a legal question?
Yeah. They asked me a question
about
YouTube,
legal briefs
on our Two Towers episode.
Yeah.
So I figured I would just answer it.
Sure.
Yeah. Give them a shout out on the stream.
And so, we thank you guys so much. Great movies, only drunker. Tune in for our next trilogy, which will be the Star Wars trilogy, the original 4, 5, and 6 episodes. So,
Woot. New Hope.
Yep. So we will give those a look. See,
I still kind of refuse to call it A New Hope.
Yeah. It's a retroactive title.
Yeah, just call it Star Wars.
Yeah. It's the original.
I mean, the kids these days, you say the first Star Wars movie and they're like, oh,
no, Phantom Menace.
Yeah, to hell with that.
That's when you show them people's elbow.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon's elbow.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next time.
Eat it.
Bye. I am no man.